When you hear the word cryptography, your brain probably jumps to someone sitting in a dark room staring at lines of code. You might also think of highly trained software engineers protecting endless amounts of data to keep it safe in digital infrastructure. Cryptography is all of that in some degree, but it's also a root methodology to modern coding. Let's try to understand some basic principles of cryptology to gain a greater understanding of this old but new technological workflow. There are three key principles of cryptography: encryption, authentication, and integrity. Encryption is the process of converting data into an unreadable form in order to protect its privacy during data transfer, reception, and storage. Encrypted data has to be decrypted, a process called decryption. Encryption and decryption require a key to be used in the process so that while the data may seem scrambled, it can still be read and understood by the desired recipients. Authentication is the process of ensuring that the sender claimed in a string of data is, in fact, the actual sender. This works by the sending computer or device performing some action that the receiver knows only the correct sender can do. When the receiver sees that action, it authenticates the message. The actual process is much more complex, but this explanation summarizes the workflow. Finally, integrity. Proper cryptography also ensures message integrity, which means that the messages are communicated accurately and not intercepted or altered on the communication path. Usually, this is done by hashing the data, which cryptographically maps out its path. Taking these principles into actuality requires a wealth of technical skill using one of three main techniques: secret key cryptography, public key cryptography, and hash functions. Secret key cryptography uses one key across both the sending encryption and receiver's decryption. It's the simplest way of encrypting data, but it's relatively low on security overall, and distributing the single key can often be easier said than done. Public key cryptography allows for the use of two keys, which are different for the sender and receiver. Both the sending party and the receiving party has a private and public key. The private key should be kept secret to the individual device, while the public key is known to any party looking to communicate with another. For instance, if one computer wanted to send another some data, it would use the receiver's public key to encrypt the data, and the receiver would use its secret private key to decrypt it. Finally, we're left with hash functions. The final basic technique of cryptology involves no keys at all. Rather, it uses a set-length hash value that is presented as plain text. Hash functions are used to check the integrity of the transferred data. You can think of this technique as computers running data through an equation, and if it spits out the right answer, the computers can verify the message's accuracy. Drawing back to the question at hand, what is cryptography? The answer is fairly simple. It's the science of taking data and securing it during transfer or storage. It's an essential aspect of modern data security, utilizing the principles we've discussed here, and it continues to push the definition of just what digital security means.